This is honestly kind of hard to say, but I have been laid off twice this year. It has not been the easiest thing in the world to get back on my feet, but I have been getting back into reading. But it's also kind of created a new problem, which is that I literally don't leave my apartment. And when I say like I don't leave my apartment, I don't mean like I spend 2 days tucked inside. I mean like I will spend an entire week without fresh air or sun or socializing. But today, that ends. We're going outside. I am kicking myself out of the nest. And what better way to do that than to cling desperately onto my emotional support hobby, which is reading. So this week, every day, I'm going to be going out into the world and reading in the places that my books are set in. So that way I can still escape into my books, but I will be getting out of my apartment and starting to enjoy this cozy fall. I'm a little bit nervous, but I think this will be good for me. Let's do it.
Today we are journeying into the woods, and it's very important to prepare, so I put on a cute little outfit and packed my bag with some essentials, including the book that inspired our woodland trip today, which is the Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fockett. And you may notice that while I do pack a ghost plushie that I made last week, I do not pack any water. Yeah.
I have come to the forest, but I have not gotten out of my car yet. I stopped for some snacks and I got raspberry turnovers, which I love, and they looked really delicious. I'm honestly very nervous about getting out of my car just because I've never been here before. It's an area where there are like trails, I guess. I don't know. My mom told me about it. Like I have no idea where I am or what I'm doing, and nobody else is here right now. So it's feeling a little spooky, but I've made it this far. I have the strength to get out of my car. And I will prove that today.
If ever you feel cold, I hope you'll come on over. Hope you'll think of me. Find comfort in the small.
Hello, I'm in the woods. It was quite the journey to get here. I did not realize that I'd be hiking today. I probably would have worn something different if that was my plan, but it's okay. After I found my spot here and could hang out with my little friend, take a few deep breaths, absolutely destroy a raspberry turnover. It was delicious. I'm feeling much better now. The vibe is exactly what I was hoping for, and the Encyclopedia of Fairies feels like the perfect book to be reading out here. I really do feel like it's kind of like this immersive experience. Like, what are they, like a 4D movie theater type thing where it's like, oh, they're crunching through leaves? So am I. I wish that you guys really could have come on this walk with me because it was genuinely embarrassing. There were also these like stone walls, and they kind of reminded me of the wall in the movie Stardust, which is based on a Neil Gaiman book, Stardust, which is really good. I recommend it. I love the movie and the book so much. But there's this wall, and if you cross the wall, then you go into fairyland in the Stardust movie and book. And there were these like little stone walls that you couldn't see the end of on my walk here, and it just so reminded me of that. I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited to read about fairies. I'm crossing the wall into fairyland. Tell me why on my walk over, I was genuinely afraid that because I have raspberry turnovers, I was gonna like attract a bear to come murder me and just maul me in the woods, and nobody would ever know what happened to me.
Okay, I am out of the woods, and on my way out, a single other car pulls in, and this sweet little family gets out. And just the sight of other people right now in my life terrifies me. It like sets me such on edge, even just to have a normal walk by of people. Like, it makes me so anxious. I'm like, do I look and smile? Do I wave? Do I say hello? Do I ignore them and keep walking? Like, I don't know what the protocol is anymore because all I do is sit inside my apartment by myself. So I was feeling anxious at the sight of this literally just like sweet little family. And then we walked by, we smiled at each other. It was fine. It was normal. I'm like, woof. I'm in the clear. I got everything that I wanted. And then what do I hear? Excuse me, excuse me. I had dropped this little guy next to the place I was taking pictures. They found this at the entrance to the woods. I guess it's not that bad now that I'm like explaining it, but in the moment I was mortified and felt like I had to run away immediately.
Hello.
Hi there.
Can I sign up for a library card?
Yeah, sure.
You feel to me like fiction. It never is quite real to me. You match my best depiction.
I just got back from the library and I ended up getting 2 books. The first book is what I went there for, Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This book is about an orphan girl named Elizabeth who grew up in the Great Library as a librarian's apprentice, which is why I was reading it in the library. I think the main character, Elizabeth, is really fun. She kind of like makes all the wrong decisions in a really fun way. So I'm enjoying so far. Check out your local libraries, fam. Ew. I just got out of the library and I tried really hard to film inside again, but I just know that anywhere I talk, people are going to hear me, and that is enough to stop me in my tracks. So here we are. But I wanted to go back to the library today because I ended up staying up way too late finishing Sorcery of Thorns. It was so good. It's young adult, so it was really wholesome, but the writing was so good, and the banter! The characters were amazing, lots of morally gray moments going on here. I will say I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars in the end. It lost its momentum a bit, so that brought it down a little bit for me. And the other thing that, like, I have to go on a little bit of a rant, but I'll keep it short, is just I think that books that explore systems of servitude have to be done really carefully. And in this world where demons make bargains with humans, it then makes the demon become a servant of the sorcerer. And I just think that the way that this book talked about the servitude, especially with the main demon character, it kind of reminded me of like the myth of the good master, which is something that goes back to like American colonial history. I feel like a bit of a Debbie Downer to bring it up, but I just could not stop thinking about the myth of the good master while I read this book. And so it's just kind of the idea that, like, regardless of the rapport that Silas and Nathaniel, the demon and the magician, have built together, there is still that major power imbalance. The power imbalance is a huge part of the story, but I don't know, it was just kind of like their relationship as master and servant are different than the other ones. And I think that's really why it was making me think about that. And so there were just like a few ways that kind of dynamic and relationship played into this story as a whole that made me think, I don't know, which is tough because I know that like Silas isn't a human, he's a demon, so it's like not the same thing, and this is a fantasy and all of that, but it's still, I don't know, these kinds of themes and conversations I think are important to have when they come up. So I guess I'm not really saying anything definitive here, but I just think that it's something you should keep in mind if you do decide to read it. So that's the rant over. So I came to the library today to return the book after finishing it. And so while I was here, I picked up The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami. And I've never read a Murakami book before, and it was very interesting. It was really unsettling, honestly, to read a book that's kind of basically like a library nightmare while I was inside of a library. And the book has like a whole bunch of graphics, like pictures and things, and they kind of add like almost a sensory experience to reading the book. Like there's a sheep man and it shows you this like wool textured fabric, and it talks about bugs, and then there are these images of bugs, and so it was kind of creepy to like have that additional experience while also reading it in a library. I would probably give this one 3 stars, mostly because it's not really my style of book, but that is another day done at the library.
Hello. I'm very embarrassed right now because I'm in public, but I'm pretty much alone, so I'm gonna power through. Today, I have come to Harvard University because I am going to be reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, which takes place partially at Harvard University. Perfect. I knew that today was going to be one of the more challenging days of the week because I had to come into the city. Like, I don't live in Boston, so I am really making moves for you guys, okay? And for me. But so far, the biggest source of anxiety has been taking the subway to get here because I have never done that by myself before. So I was very nervous that I was going to be going the wrong way, and even when I knew I was going the right way and like the subway dude was literally saying like, next stop Harvard, next stop Harvard. I was like shaking, like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss this stop, I'm not gonna make it, I'm going in the wrong direction. And it's like, no, he's literally saying Harvard over the speakers, and all I have to do is stand up and walk out the doors. But I was very anxious about it. I also just feel like when I'm alone, like it looks like I'm alone. When I got here and kind of got settled, I was kind of thinking about like my motivation while I'm doing these things, because like I definitely think that, oh my god, it's so embarrassing to say out loud, but I do think that I'm getting tired from doing things every day, and I hate saying that out loud, but sadly it's the truth. I don't know, like going from 0 to every day is a lot for me. And I think I was sitting here like, okay, it took me like over 2 hours to get here. Like, is it worth it to do this kind of thing all the time? I'm gonna settle in and read and try and just like enjoy the Harvard atmosphere around me, so maybe my mind will be changed by the end.
You're sweet like candy. I knew it since you arrived.
I'm back and I'm feeling very accomplished so far. On my way back to the train station, I ended up finding this farmer's market, and so I bought a little candle, and it's so cute. It's called Moon Phases. The company is Sacred Flame, and it's so cool. It has like sparkles and like a little crystal inside, and it smells so good. So that was fun. And I am absolutely loving the book so far. It's really good. It's about these two college students that are both obsessed with video games, so they decide to make one together. And honestly, it had me squealing like a little baby pig by page 30. It's so good. And then by page 60, I was literally crying. So it has that kind of charming quality that I feel like a lot of really good literary fiction has, where it kind of toes the line of quirky, but it never crosses over into the world of cringe. And it's about gamers, and I love gamers, and I love video games, so I am very much enjoying it. It was also really cool to be reading it where they were. Like, they were talking about these specific places like Kendall Square and Central Square, and those are stops on the Red Line, which like I had to take both ways. And so going back, I was like, oh my god, they were here. But honestly, a lot of this week has been leading up to where I'm gonna go tomorrow, because I've been wanting to go there for a while now, and I do feel like I'm officially prepped and ready to go.
I'm in a very special place today. I am at the Boston Public Library, which is why I'm feeling very shy right now. But you might be like, ugh, another library? Seriously? But this is a very fancy library, okay? It has very big art and big dark academia vibes. I've been really wanting to come here since I found out about that, but I've been too scared and too nervous to do it all by my lonesome. And I definitely have still felt anxious so far, the most right now, because I'm having to do this in kind of a close vicinity to other people. I'm in a private room, don't worry. But I also feel like I'm the most anxious when I'm in a new place, because I feel like people are gonna look at me and know that I have no idea what I'm doing, or like I'll do something wrong, which is like my greatest fear in life. But generally, I'm feeling pretty good today. I wore an outfit that I feel very confident in, and I felt really good leaving my apartment this morning too. And I don't know if this is TMI, but I am such like an introverted homebody that when I leave my apartment, oftentimes apart from the anxiety, I also feel like physically ill and nauseous, but I haven't had that at all today. So things are positive. I'm also kind of surprised that I'm feeling okay, because I ended up staying awake until 5 in the morning last night, reading tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Oh my god. I genuinely can't say the title of that book without tearing up anymore. If you like books about love, not like romance, but love, and you also like books that will emotionally destroy you to the point of questioning all of your life's decisions, and that after reading you know that you'll never be the same again, read that book. It was amazing, but I needed a bit of an escape after the trauma of reading that book. So today I am reading The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern, which I believe is like a story about stories and like traveling through stories. So there's definitely going to be some library action, hence the trip, and it also takes place in New England. so many New England books recently.
I spent the rest of the day reading and getting low-quality footage of the library art. Sometimes it can be hard to remember how much life is happening outside when we aren't being forced to experience it. And I want to experience it, even if it's a little uncomfortable or maybe feels hard sometimes. Plus, I know I'll always have my books by my side. And now I'm going to recover from the week by rotting away in bed because it's also okay to recharge when you need to. All you introverts out there, I see you and I love you. See you next time.